Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another presentation this morning from Gemma Coleman from Wellness Without Barriers. Sorry, Gemma Davis from Wellness. It's because your name's wrong on your screen. So, um, from Wellness Without Barriers, and today we're discussing living with an unpredictable body. So I shall be quiet and I shall pass over to Gemma and say good morning. Thank you. Nice to see you again. And everyone else, we've got quite a good number this morning. It's very hot already, and I know it's going to be getting warmer as the next hour and a half goes on. So hopefully nobody melts in the meantime. But Gemma, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today, even though it is an absolute scorcher, as Steve said. I'm in Wiltshire in the UK, and it's 29 degrees where I am at the moment. So just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate you being here. And please make sure that you have a drink to hand because it is very, very warm, as we said. Okay, so as Steve said, my name is Gemma Davies. I'm the founder of Wellness Without Barriers. And like many of you, I live with functional neurological disorder. I also have other that come with it, so fatigue, migraines, sensory challenges, and all the unpredictability that comes with it. Okay, so can't hear me. Is that better? Tracy, is that better? You said you can't hear me. Okay. Okay, so for a long time,
Sorry, I could hear Steve clear, but I couldn't hear. Sorry, Gemma.
is it better now?
Just a little bit closer. Thank you.
I've got, yeah, it dangles down and it's not
Okay,
long enough. That's the problem.
thank you.
No worries, my love. Is that better?
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, as you guys know, I have functional neurological disorder as well. And for quite a long time, I believed that if I just tried to push through, push harder, stay positive enough, I could get back to the person I was before the big event and being diagnosed. But what I learned was constantly fighting with my body was costing me more energy than I realized. And the harder I pushed, the more exhausted I became. So what I want today to be about is understanding it's like living with an unpredictable body, why rest and recovery matters, which we went through in the last session, if you were with me at that point. And my hope today is that you'll leave with a better understanding of living with an unpredictable body, and hopefully some little nuggets to help you move forward and hopefully be of a great assistance. Okay. So a quick disclaimer before we start. This workshop is completely educational. Everybody's symptoms and circumstances are different. And I'd like you to take what feels helpful with this and leave what doesn't. Okay, so my own personal experiences might be completely different to yours, and I'm happy to have discussions about that as well. But I'm sharing information based on my professional training and my current understanding of functional neurological disorder and obviously my own lived experience. Any medical concern should always be discussed with your healthcare team, as you guys well know. Okay. So let's begin.
Sorry, Gemma, I don't know if you know that your screen's not sharing yet.
Okay, bear with me just a second. There we go. How's that? Brilliant. Okay, so we'll start here. Okay. Bear with me a second. Okay, I want to start with something we can all relate to. Okay, how many of you have ever had to cancel plans because your body has had other ideas? Think about the last time that you made plans. Maybe it was meeting a friend, going shopping, attending a workshop, attending an appointment, or even just planning to leave the house. And then your body has different ideas. How many of you had to cancel because your symptoms suddenly got worse? If that's right, pop a yes in the chat for me if this has happened to you. Can't see the chat, bear with me. There we go. Yeah, plenty of yeses there. Lovely. Yeah, that's what we want to see. So, well, we don't want to see that, but you know. Okay. Where are we? Plenty of yeses like that. Oh, let's move that back over. Sorry, guys. Having a bit of a technical issue here. There we go. So I've certainly been there, okay? And living with FND means I can wake up one day and feel fairly steady, and the next day I could be struggling. And it can be fatigue, it can be pain, seizures, brain fog, and sometimes it can change within hours, sometimes it can change within minutes, and sometimes it's day to day. And what's the first emotion that comes to mind when this happens? Have a think about it. What is your first emotion that comes to mind when you have to cancel plans? There's no right or wrong answers. Guilty, guilt, yeah. Despair, that's a good one, Jim, yeah. It's a good response. As bad as it is, it's not a good response, but it is a good response that you're actually acknowledging that you feel these things. Disappointment, yeah. Angry, Carol, yeah. Lots of different words, and that is completely normal. Frustration, yeah. Many of us end up feeling like that we've let people down, and that then comes with the guilt and the frustration. And somehow it makes us feel like we've all failed because our body didn't do what we wanted it to do. Frustration, disappointment, anger towards my body and symptoms. Yeah, a letdown, absolutely. The truth is that living with an unpredictable body means constantly adapting, as you all probably well know, and that uncertainty can be exhausting. So today's session isn't about pretending that unpredictability disappears. It's about learning ways to work with it so that it has less control over your life. And as I said, by the end of today, I hope you'll leave with a few practical ideas and make those difficult days feel a little bit more manageable and maybe a little less lonely. Okay. So one of the hardest parts of living with the fluctuating condition isn't always the symptoms itself. It's the uncertainty. Never knowing how you'll feel. Healthy people make plans expecting that they'll be able to keep them, and many of us make plans knowing there's a chance our body will have the final say. And that uncertainty affects every part of life, holidays, birthdays, work, relationships, and even whether we agree to have a cup of coffee with a friend. We become planners, negotiators, and risk assessors before we've even left the house. And that constant decision making is making us mentally exhausted. Which one of those pulls the most weight for you? Which one takes the most energy from you guys? Any answers in the chat? Which one pulls the weight for you? Constant decisions, yeah. Every plan comes with a what if. What if this happens? What if I can't do this? What if they don't believe me? Emotional weight, constant decisions is draining. Navigating other people, yeah, Helen, that's a good one. All of them, Emma, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because we're all different and yet we're spending our energy on things that most people will never even realize is happening. And that for us puts us all in one big family because yes, we're all different, but yes, we're all dealing with the same thing. So I'd like you to meet Alex. This is Alex. Alex could be any of us. Okay. Alex is 42. She's got a party coming up for her granddaughter. Her presents are all wrapped. Transport's organised. She's excited about today and she really, really wants to be there. She's made a promise to her granddaughter that she's going to be there. And on the day, she wakes up. Her legs feel heavy, brain fog, fatigue. And the problem is that it's not that she doesn't care, it's that her body's changed the plan. What should Alex do? Should she push through? If she pushes through, she might enjoy the party, but spend the next 3 days recovering. Should she stay at home? If she stays at home, she protects her energy, but she misses a precious family moment. Maybe she compromises and goes for an hour. Maybe she rests before and after. But every one of these options comes with a cost. Okay, and that's the reality of living with an unpredictable body. Constantly weighing up what we might gain against what might cost us later on. And most people never have to think this way. And many of us, I'm sure all of you on here today, all of you do this every single day. What would you advise Alex to do? Pop your thoughts in the chat. What do you reckon she should do? Should she push through? Rosie, go for an hour. Okay, that's a good compromise. Rest for an hour. Rest before and after and go for an hour. Yep, compromise, go for little using aids. Good answer, Jojo, well done. Yep, rest before, go for an hour, then rest after. Yep. Very good, yep, rest and reevaluate. So we're liking to go for the hour option, okay? But I'm seeing quite a few different answers here, which is really good. And that's because managing a fluctuating condition isn't about following a rule book. Okay? She should do what she feels comfortable doing because it will feel rubbish either way. Alicia, that's a good answer. Very good answer. And it's sad that that's a true answer. So it's about making the best decision with the information that you have at that moment. So every day starts with a question. Most people wake up and start planning their day. I, like many of you, probably wake up and start assessing my body. Do a body check before the feet even hit the floor. So it's, can I shower today? Can I drive? Can I work? Can I cook? Can I make that appointment? What happens if my symptoms change halfway through? And before the day's even begun, dozens of decisions have already been made. And that uncertainty means every decision carries a level of risk. And that's what many people never have to think about. So you're already exhausted before you've even started, before you've even got out of bed. How many of you can relate to this? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a few yeses coming in there. There we go. So one symptom rarely stays one symptom. Seizure might last 5 minutes, but I may need 2 days to recover. Likes the yeses, good, yeah. Cancelling one appointment might mean rearranging transport, childcare, work, hospital appointments, and explaining myself to several different people. Pain just doesn't affect pain, and fatigue doesn't just affect tiredness. Everything has a ripple effect. You know what the ripple effect looks like? You drop a drop of water into a puddle, into the sea. That's your unpredictable symptoms. And with that, you have to deal with relationships, family life, independence, work and education, confidence, well-being, finances, and daily plans. So sometimes the biggest challenge isn't the actual symptom itself, it's everything the symptom changes afterwards. Okay. Living with an unpredictable body doesn't affect just effect. One symptom can change far more than a single moment. And this is one of the hard but acceptance isn't always about lowering your expectations of yourself as a person. Action says, I have to keep up. I can't let people down. I should push through. I must finish everything. And when we stop fighting today's body because we wish it was yesterday's body, we create better space for better decisions. So acceptance doesn't mean that we stop hoping. It means that we stop measuring ourselves against something we can't control. So acceptance says, I'll do what I can today. It's okay to change my plans. My health matters too. And good enough is enough. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's working with the body you have today. Which sentence on the left under perfection do you catch yourself saying most? Tell me in the chat. Which sentence on the left do you catch yourself saying the most? So for me, it's I can't let people down. That's a big one for me in my family and my friends. Yeah, I have to keep up. Yeah, I should push through. Yeah, can't let people down. I have to keep up. Absolutely. And what about on the right? Which sentence on the right would you like to believe more? And that's a tough one because I originally went for it's okay to change plans. But then I put good enough is good enough. Good enough is enough. Yeah, absolutely. So what you're doing there, guys, is you're accepting that you and your body is not up for perfection. You're accepting it. Good enough. I'll do what I can today. A few of those coming through. My health matters too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So keep those in mind. One thing many people with fluctuating conditions have in common is that we all become experts in explaining ourselves. How many of you are experts in explaining yourself? How many of you got it down to a T because you've had to do it so many times? What people often say, but you looked fine yesterday. I don't like that sentence. Are you feeling better now? Any of you get those? Are you feeling better now? Can't you just push through? It's exhausting having to try and explain. Yeah, absolutely. You were okay last week. Sometimes we explain because we want people to understand. Sometimes we explain because we're worried they won't believe us. Sometimes we explain because we don't want to let anyone down. Again, a few of you said in the chat there that you don't want to let people down. Don't want to disappoint them. Maybe I should go. And over time, that can become exhausting, that on its own. And the reality is that symptoms can change from hour to hour, sometimes minutes to minutes. You don't need permission for your body to have a difficult day. And you don't always owe everyone a detailed explanation. And one of the hardest parts of living with an unpredictable body is feeling like they're constantly having to prove it. Have you felt like that as well? Give me a yes in the chat if you felt that you've always had to prove that you're unwell. Yeah, absolutely. A few yeses coming in there, definitely. Yeah. One with capitals, absolutely. Okay, so a big change that I made was letting go of rigid planning. We call it flexible planning. You stop asking, can I do everything I planned today? So I used to write a list and expect myself to complete every single thing on that list. Some of you might recognize this from the last webinar that I did, making you feel like if you didn't complete everything on that list, that you felt like you failed. But now I ask myself a different question. What's realistic for the body I have today? Must-dos. Things that can wait. Okay. Could do. Things I'd like to do if my symptoms would allow. Some things generally have to happen and you can't control that, whereas others can wait. And that's okay. Things are okay to move to another day. They could be delegated. But I want you to know that that's not giving up. Okay, that's making decisions based on reality rather than guilt. And when our body's unpredictable, our plans need to be flexible too. Flexibility isn't failure, it's adapting to today's reality. Think about today. Other than this webinar, what's one thing that could have waited? What's one thing that you have on today's list that can wait? Helen, I've isolated myself because of people judging. Yeah, absolutely, Helen. That is probably 90% of us, probably 99% of us. It's a frustrating thing. I find I use my energy on the must-dos and make the fun things wait. Yeah, absolutely. And you're not alone in that, Nikki, at all. Not alone. Okay. So I think many of us were brought up believing that changing our plans has meant we failed. It's okay to change the plan. So the original plan: shopping, coffee with a friend, walking the dog, cooking dinner. Simple things you would think for somebody who is healthy. And if your body changes your plan, you should be allowed to make changes too. So imagine if the weather forecast suddenly warned of heavy snow. Most people would change their plans without feeling guilty. But when we judge ourselves and our body gives us new information, we ignore it. We tell ourselves to keep going, to push through. And living with an unpredictable body means learning to trust today's information and not yesterday's expectations. Some of the bravest decisions isn't carrying on, it's just changing the plan. Today's reality. Order online rather than go shopping. Rearrange coffee with a friend, or have them come to the house instead. Ask someone for help. That's a biggie. I've said before and I'll say again, I'm not one for asking for help. And as I can imagine, many of you are the same. Making a simple meal rather than cooking from scratch. Changing the plan is not failing, it's responding to new information. Have any of you had to change a plan and turned out to be the right decision? Any of you made plans and needed to change it? A few yeses coming in, like it. And it was a better decision for you, and that's what you want. Absolutely. Lots of yeses coming in like that. So we're going to be working with your body, not against it. Many of you have had a diagnosis of FND for years, some probably only a few weeks, some probably a few months. We tend to ignore our symptoms, especially in the beginning. We try to push through. We tell ourselves that we're being lazy. What if we tried something different? Instead of fighting every change, the first step is to notice. What is my body telling me today? So what I'm trying to get at here is that you are self-aware. You pay attention to how your body is feeling, especially first thing in the morning. The second step is to adjust. What needs to change today? Say you want to go shopping on your list today and you just really don't feel up to it. Your legs are feeling a bit wobbly. You're feeling quite fatigued. Maybe that could change. Maybe you could order online, or maybe you could rearrange for another day. Maybe make the walk a bit shorter if you're going for a walk. Cancel an appointment if you need to. Maybe it can be something as small as sitting instead of standing. And then comes the important part, to continue. What can I still do? Instead of asking what you can do, ask, what can I still do today? And that that question completely changes the conversation that you have with yourself every day. What can I still do today? It moves you away from loss and towards possibility. Adapting isn't giving in, it's responding with kindness instead of conflict. Can you think of one thing that you've adapted rather than stopped doing? Because we're not asking you to stop doing these things, we're asking you to adapt. Have any of you changed something that you've adapted to rather than stopping doing it completely? Jojo, I know you said at the beginning with the climbing wall, with the heat today, that you would happily sit at the bottom and just look at the holes rather than climb it. You know, that is a small adaptation, because you know the heat's just going to take it away from you.
I've started bringing my wheelchair as well, so then when I'm not climbing, I'm sitting down and not standing and wasting unnecessary energy.
There you go. Perfect. And that's a perfect example of adjusting and adapting. Okay. So if nobody has given you permission to do these things today, I would like to. So I've created this thing called permission cards. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is give ourselves permission. Here we go. Attended a party, but conversed less. And it took time out in a quiet space. Trace, that's good. Yep. Jim, going to another room and rest during a family gathering. Yeah. Rosie, one big day out to take the wheelchair, but don't want to rely on it. Yeah, absolutely. So those are really good ones. Really, really good ones. Yeah. So sometimes the kindest thing we can do is give ourselves permission. If I could hand every one of you a permission card today, this is what it would say. I give myself permission to change the plan, to rest without earning it or feeling guilty, saying no without the guilt, asking for help. As I said earlier, that's a biggie for me. I'm slowly learning. I mean, I've been diagnosed for 5 years and I'm still learning to ask for help. I'm unbelievably stubborn when it comes to, yes, I can do it myself. And that is not really the way to go, because that in itself is absolutely exhausting. Leave early as needed. So a little bit like Jim's example of go to another room and rest during a family gathering. If you need to leave early, leave early. That's what you need to do. And celebrate my wins. That's a big one. Celebrating your wins. Okay. They can be big, they can be small. But you do need to celebrate the little wins. Okay. You have permission to celebrate what you did manage today instead of focusing on what you couldn't. Because living with an unpredictable body isn't about doing everything. It's about making choices that help you keep living. About treating yourself with love and kindness that you would show somebody else. Give me a number between 1 to 6 of those cards and tell me which one do you need mostly today. Which one's a big one for you? Change the plan is 1. Rest without earning it is 2. Saying no without guilt is 3. Ask for help is 4. Leave early as I need is 5. And celebrate my wins is 6. A lot of 2s. Couple of 1s, 5 or 6. Okay, yeah. Lots of 2s. Okay. 6 as well. Okay. So it sounds like a lot of you, the main issue for you is resting without earning it, resting without feeling guilty. And that's a big thing. The fact that you can notice that is a big step. That's amazing. So when your plans change, your identity can change too. It's not just about the cancelled plans. Many of us grieve the person we used to be. Okay. So when your body can no longer rely, when you can no longer rely on your body, it's easy to stop trusting yourself. How many of you agree with that? Yes in the chat if you agree with that. Completely. A lot of yeses coming through. Good. So loss. I miss the person I used to be. I was the parent who could always say yes. I was the employee that never called in sick. I was the friend who was always there. And the person who didn't have to think twice before making plans. And that's the real loss for me. And it's okay that I can acknowledge that now. That used to really upset me. And that used to put me in tears. But now I've accepted that I'm not the person who I used to be. I can still do things. I just can't do them the same every time. Adjustment. Learning to do things differently. We begin to discover a different version of ourselves. We're still ourselves, 100%, but we have a different version now. Not a lesser version, but very different. One that adapts and one that shows resilience. Because believe it or not, you guys being here today in these hot temperatures, 31 degrees where I am currently, shows resilience. Really shows resilience. And it shows that you can adapt. Then comes growth. I'm still me, even if I live differently. That's the one that keeps finding ways to live a meaningful life, even when the path looks very different. For me, I put it as a roadmap. You got a straight line going right up from the bottom to the top. Perfect roadmap. That was me before. Me now, it's a long, wavy road, long, winding, wavy road. Your body may have changed. But your value hasn't. Okay, living with an unpredictable body may change how you do things, but it does not change your worth. I want you all to think about that for a minute. Your worth is always massive. No matter who you are, no matter the struggles you have, your worth is what matters. What does success look like for you now? How do you measure success? So before I was diagnosed, before my big event, before becoming unwell, success might have meant finishing the to-do list, getting everything done, never cancelling, being reliable, keeping up and pushing through, being busy, being productive, and always saying yes. But when your body becomes unpredictable, those measures can become impossible. If we keep using the same definition of success, we'll always feel like we're failing every day. So perhaps we need a new definition. Success can mean recognizing your warning signs, so listening to your body. Now, those of you that have been on my last 2 webinars will know that you get the amber warning signs. Alicia, it's true, but paramedics and medical staff can come and undo all of that with their attitude. Absolutely, Alicia. I agree with you 100% on that. And yeah, I'll discuss that with you after, Alicia, definitely. Okay. Maybe it's leaving an event before your symptoms become overwhelming, so adapting your plans. Maybe it's choosing one meaningful activity instead of 5 exhausting ones. Maybe success is protecting tomorrow as much as today. So you're asking for help. You're leaving before symptoms worsen. You're protecting tomorrow as well as today. Changing how we measure success does not lower our standards. Success isn't doing everything. It's making choices that help you keep living the life that matters to you. Doesn't lower our standards. It changes our measuring stick. That's all it does. What does today's success look like for you? If you remember how you were before to how you are now, what adaptations have you made? Any examples? The amber warning signs. Since my first webinar, I've paid more attention to my warning signs. You have the traffic light system. So you've got red, amber, and green. Green is when you're having a good day. Amber is when your warning signs kick in. It might be you're feeling a bit more tired than normal. You might get a bit of brain fog. Your legs might stop working. You might take a bit more. But these are all signs that you need to look out for. And it's listening to your body. Your body is always giving you information. Unpredictable or predictable, it's always giving you information. I think it'll be listening to my body more after today. Helen, that's very good. Self-care is success. Yes, Jim, absolutely. Self-care is success. Like that one. Being reliable, how does that fit with people as they were before? Being reliable to now being the person that might cancel last minute. Having to explain yourself again. A small lie down can make a big difference. 15 minutes yoga. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with that, 100%. You'd be surprised, excuse me, the small things that can make a big difference. Nice, okay. So, Helen, you've already answered this one, but what's one small change you'll make after today's workshop? Living with an unpredictable body does not require a perfect plan. It just requires one small change. Just had to buy an electric wheelchair. Huge difference. Yeah, absolutely. And that comes under self-care as well. Absolutely. It's just one small change. What's one small change you'll make after today? I don't want you to pick 10. I don't want you to say everything. Just one. Learning not to put loads in my to-do list and make it more manageable so less is in the list. Absolutely. So delegating. Changing the day that you do it, Rosie. Do what matters to you, not what's important to everybody else. Do what's important to you, knowing I deserve to adapt to my needs. That's good. Ask for help, Molly. Yep, that's a big one. That's a big one. You would think that I would practice what I preach, as the saying goes. I do still struggle with these as well myself. I do always give myself a big to-do list, and I do end up with half of it not done at the end of the day because I'm just too tired. Getting rid errors who trigger me. Yep. Resting more and not feeling like I have to do everything. Check last night's plans against how my body feels today. Absolutely, Jim. That's absolutely perfect, because what you're doing is you're protecting yourself for tomorrow. That's what you're doing. Be kinder to myself. Enough is good enough. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. You are 100% on it. I don't even think any of you probably needed to come on this webinar, because you've all got it anyway. You all know this. You've just got to put it into practice, which again is not easy. But that's what we're all here for, is each other. And my biggest lesson with this is waiting. Okay, I spent a long time waiting. My body became unpredictable. I was waiting to feel better, waiting until symptoms settled, and waiting until I could trust my body again. But there was one problem with that, and you guys probably have the same thing. That day never comes. That day never comes. You're waiting and waiting, and that day never comes. But what I've learned is that life doesn't begin when uncertainty ends. Steve, it's important to remind ourselves of these rules. That's why being here helps. Absolutely. Yeah. Life happens alongside uncertainty. I still have difficult days. I still have to change plans, and I still disappoint myself sometimes. But I also laugh. I also work. I speak. I help people, and I make memories. Yes, my body is unpredictable, but that doesn't mean that my life has to be. I've stopped waiting for certainty before I start living again. How many of you would like to take on that? Stop waiting for certainty before I start living again. Give me a yes in the chat. Your body is unpredictable. Absolutely is. Got a yes there coming through. Perfect. Like it. None of you should ever feel guilty for having to change plans. None of you should ever feel guilty for having to rest rather than go out. Go for an hour instead, like you've all been saying. Like it. So your journey doesn't end here. If you think today's session's helped you, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could just spare a minute to leave a Google review for me, and it will help me reach more people. Everyone attending today is welcome to book a free consultation with me if they want to discuss more. And I always offer £20 off to you guys for your first paid support session that lasts 28 days. Karen, here we go. I find being on my own and having days when I can't do anything else is still really tough. Yes, absolutely. It is a very lonely condition, FND. It can be. But I think with regards to the unpredictability side of things, at least if you're on your own, you've got nobody to disappoint. And what I'm saying is you're not going to disappoint yourself. You might feel like that sometimes, but you're not going to disappoint yourself. We all have unpredictable bodies, all of us here attending today, but it's about how we manage them. You guys need to give yourselves a break. You need to, I keep saying you need to, I know it's not easy to do. I know that guilt can take over. I know that letting people down can take over. It's always the negative talk that you have for yourself. And what I'm saying is I think that you guys should be treating yourself as you would treat somebody else in a similar situation. I can guarantee that if you were sat, and if we were all sat in a room today and we were all talking, you would all be empathetic for each other, sympathetic for each other, and you would try and help each other. Why can't we do that for ourselves? Why can't we sit there and say to ourselves, okay, so I've got this on, I don't feel I can do it. Do you know what? I'm just going to have to cancel, and not think, but what if that person doesn't like me for it? What if they don't book with me again? What if they don't come and see me? And that will make you feel even more lonely. I get that. But you've got to look after number one. With an unpredictable body, believe it or not, it can be easy or easier for you. You just got to give yourself the respect and the empathy and the sympathy that you would give somebody else. I think that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing. And we're up for questions and answers now.
Okay, well, before we move into that, just say thanks, Gemma, for all that really useful tips and advice, guidance, things to think on as usual. I'll stop the recording now so people can ask questions freely. But once again, thank you very much. It's been really great. Thank you.
Thank you.